They got to be front and center by your mirror, by your computer screen, by your refrigerator, by your work desk, wherever it is. So it's always at the front of your mind. Because if it's not in the front of your mind, something else will creep in there.
When you're specific, people can point you in the right direction. When you're not, who can guide you? But no one can guide you if you don't know what you want.
We've spoken about procrastination, and a practical teaching for that is to remove distractions. So today's video with Dandapani and Dr. Ivan Joseph talks exactly about how to remove distractions from our lives. Today's video is sponsored by Mulliganbrothers.com, the best motivational clothing brand in the world, where you can now get the hardest work in the room t-shirts, the rise and grind t-shirts, and so much more to help support these projects. But before that, how do we design a life and a lifestyle that removes distraction and allows us to move towards our goals with purpose and passion? Well, here's Dandapani and Dr. Ivan Joseph talking exactly that. I'm your host, Jordan Mulligan. Let's jump into the video. So, I mean, the awareness of that is so simple, like the idea that we've got this powerful tool. I'm guessing having the awareness is one of the first steps, and it sounds so silly. We all know we've got a brain, but the idea that they are so capable. But what's the first thing that you find yourself teaching people, and the process you take people down when it comes to training the mind and learning the mind?
It's about understanding how the mind works. So even before learning to focus, we need to understand the mechanics of the mind, because if we don't understand the mechanics of the mind, it's going to be very hard to focus it. Similar like a camera, right? If you have a DSLR camera and you don't understand how to control aperture or shutter speed or ISO and all these things, you still take a photo, it may not be in focus. But before you can even focus the camera, it's good to understand some of these basic settings in order to create a photo that you want to create. So understanding the mind is the first step, then learning to focus. And like you said, with the mind, no one teaches us, having that consciousness that, oh, we have this amazing tool that we haven't learned to use. But the same thing goes with focus, right? I mean, when we're growing up, people tell us, Jordan, can you just focus on eating your food? Jordan, can you concentrate on doing your homework? But no one teaches us how to do it. They tell us to do it, but they don't teach us how to do it. I hear parents saying to kids all the time, can you just focus for a second? I'm like, awesome. Want to show me how to do it? But there's just so many things, just general life things that we are never taught. We have a body. All of us have a body. And some of us are blessed with a fully capable body. And yet we never get taught how it works or how to look after it, how to feed it and how to care for it. It's fascinating, isn't it? You go through years of school learning God knows what, and you think the basic things they would teach you is about the mind, the body. It'd be nice if someone taught me in school what to eat, how to exercise my body, how to make it strong, understand my mind, how to focus it, how to deal with problems I have.
We live in a society where people want that answer. How can I be rich? How can I be successful? Give me the one message. And the message is put a lot of time into it. And it's not a quick thing. It's just not an easy thing.
And a lot of people sell that, right? You see these ads sometimes pop up on YouTube where there's these guys, standing in front of these big mansions and fancy cars. I'll show you how to be rich. They show you this pile of books. I've read all these books. I've taken the key pieces from these books. I'll share them with you. Like, really? You think that's enough?
Yes, it's most definitely not. Yeah.
And where do we start? For people who are listening, we start by figuring out what the hell we want. That's where you start. Forget about learning to meditate, learning to do this. What simple question, what do you want in life? And that answer should not be happiness, because happiness should never be pursued. Happiness is a byproduct of living a certain type of lifestyle. Jordan goes out on Saturday to have beer with his friends. The byproduct of that is happiness. Perhaps, I don't know, I'm assuming.
I'm not much of a drinker, but yeah.
But you get the point, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So when you can define a lifestyle where the byproduct of that lifestyle results in the feeling of happiness, That's the key, right? So we need to figure out what it is we want in life. And that's the question that needs to be answered, because once you can answer that question, you can start working backwards. What's the path to get there? What are the tools I need? What are the practices that I need to be doing in order to get there? What books do I need to read to get there? If I want to be a great landscaper or botanist, I'm not going to read a book on how to fix cars. I don't need that book.
Is it important to get a stronger and more specific and almost belief in what you want to achieve and what it is that you want to do?
Specificity is so important, right? Again, taking the simple drinking analogy, I'm sorry.
No.
If I went up to a bar, in a pub, and I can't just say I want beer. The same way if I go to a clothing store and a salesperson comes up to me and says, "Oh, welcome to our store." And I say, "I'm looking for clothes." And she might say, "Well, you've come to the right place. What kind of clothes are you looking for?" "Something to cover my body. Those are the type we have here." "That's great. You found the right store." "Do you want to cover the top part of your body, the bottom part of your body? Do you want it to be visible to people, not visible to people? Do you want these clothes to be something you wear when it's hot, or in the middle of winter, or maybe in spring or fall?" I mean, if you're not specific, and it's a 5-story building selling clothes, they can't. But if you walk in there and you say, "I'm looking for exercise shorts." Yep, go up these 2 escalators to the 3rd floor. As soon as you get off the escalator, turn left to go all the way to the back wall, turn right, it's on the far corner. When you're specific, people can point you in the right direction. When you're not, who can guide you? But no one can guide you if you don't know what you want. And what you want cannot just be vague statements like, "I want to be happy. I want to live an amazing life." What does that mean?
So now I wanted to talk about sort of the road. So let's say when you started being a coach, there was a load of things that you put in place to become successful at that. One of the things I really like that you spoke about like what you do with individuals and teams is deflecting distractions, which is so difficult in the sort of world we live in right now. We can get distracted so easy. Like, what's your advice? Have you got any sort of techniques or programs that you use to sort of deflect those distractions, to stay focused?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is before you even get to distractions, you have to be clear of your purpose and your goal, right? Clear of your purpose and your goal. And so, what is your goal? Win the national championship. Or what is your goal? Earn this managerial job. What is your goal, right? Be married by the age of 25. Whatever your goal is. And then it's important to recognize, okay, if this is the goal, what are the steps that I really need to do to accomplish that goal? And so sometimes, let's say the goal is, I'm making it up, but I want to lose 25 pounds. That's I want to feel good about myself. My goal is to lose 25 pounds. Well, what do I got to do? I'm not going to eat past 7. I'm going to drink 4 glasses of water a day. I'm going to exercise 20 minutes every day, whatever those things are. And all of a sudden now, you've got this clear roadmap. The thing is, we sometimes put this clear roadmap only in our head. I want to write it down. When I'm losing weight, on the front of my fridge is my goal. And then it's my weigh-in number and my graph every day. Because you can't have these goals down, hidden away. They got to be front and center by your mirror, by your computer screen, by your refrigerator, by your work desk, wherever it is. So it's always at the front of your mind. Because if it's not in the front of your mind, something else will creep in there, right? Oh my gosh, my goal is to get this manager job. I got to finish this project. Hey, let's go out to the bar, guys, and party tonight. And I turn and look at my computer. It's like manager by age 25. Nope. I need to constantly remind myself and have it front and center what I'm about and what's going on. So that's one technique. Write it down and put it someplace where you're seeing. Number 2 technique, which is really equally as important, is who are you surrounding yourself with? Equally committed people who have that same drive and discipline and purpose. And that's hard because sometimes like, but these are my friends, these are things I want. Who are the high achievers, right? Who are the people that are equally committed, who are good for you and good to you? Because we all will have this time where we just want to go this way. And they're like, hey, come on, let's do this. And everybody needs a wingman or a wingwoman, right? Just your motivator, your pipe woman, your hype man. Come on, you can do this. So that's another important piece. Surround yourself with people who will build you up, right? And that's hard because it's like, oh gosh. Sometimes I say it's get away from the people who will tear you down. But that motivation piece, you write it down, okay, I write it down, but I'm still not good. Okay, here's my people. Number 3, what are the distractions? Don't spend and wait for them to surprise you. When you set your goal and you set your processes, write down the things that that are your slippery slopes. No different than the alcoholic says, you know what, I'm gonna be dry, I'm gonna be, I'm not drinking any beer anymore. Well, what's a distraction? I can't go into Nelly's because even though they got the best chicken wings, they also got that beer I love. So you know what? I'm not going into Nelly's for that restaurant anymore. You know what? I'm not hanging out with Sally because Sally always drinks wine with her dinner, and that's just too slippery for me. What are your distractions so that you can see when they're coming? And what I call become the red flags. If I'm losing weight and I know that I'm going to weigh in every morning, okay, that's not bad. If I miss 1, that's okay. But if I miss 2, that's my red flag. So it's like distractions, red flags. What are your red flags that say you're about to go off course and you need help? And that says, let me get to my friend.
Do you think write all this down? No, it's brilliant. It's fantastic. Do you think write it all down? Write the distractions down too and have all these things in front of you?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. There was something that you mentioned just there, not giving people sort of your power, your energy, like not allowing people to take that from you.
Yeah. Don't give your power away.
That's it.
So I say this about people who sometimes let critical people, negative people dissuade you from your goals. There's always people out there who are going to tell you you're no good, that you don't have the ability. Are you crazy? That's a terrible idea. Why are you doing that? And all of a sudden, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And as soon as you let them take over, then you've given away your power. And what I mean by that is you've listened to them and you've let them stop you in your tracks. And I'm like, what the heck? Who knows? Do you know? Like, imagine, I remember it's like, there's a lady one time that it's like, that's a terrible idea. I don't even know who you are. I just met you. You don't know anything about me. So I don't care what you think, right? That's the way I want you to look at it. Sometimes we think about it as like, oh gosh, yeah, well, you must be an expert. You must be it. Yeah. I share the story of how I cut a guy 3 different times. 3 different times I cut this guy from a position that I am the expert in. Like, I literally coach people to millions of dollars in this. And he came back a 4th time and became an all-Canadian, a pro, and is now still playing. If anybody was to tell somebody that he wasn't good enough, it should have been me. But that guy didn't pay any attention. He interpreted that feedback differently and he got away from me. When you know those people that are constantly wearing at you, if you're not careful, they start this downward cycle where they influence your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. And so in order to stop that, you got to get away from them and not pay them any mind.
How do you decide who is the one you should listen to and is giving you good advice versus the one you should ignore and carry on?
That's a good question. So I always talk about negative feedback versus critical feedback. Negative feedback is always what's wrong, what's broken, why it's not happening, why it's a terrible idea. Critical feedback, why it's wrong, have you tried this? Critical feedback, this is what's broken, I could see this, this, and this. These are the issues that I would work to solve on. Do you see how they give you hope, a path forward, optimism, right? Critical feedback is supportive. I love where you're going, right? I could see the work that you put into this. Here are the issues that I think that are broken. Here's what very specific, positive, that supports and motivates you to keep moving, right? Whatever you're asking, and sometimes we have to train people to give feedback. And so I say, okay, I got it. Do you have any suggestions? Do you have any thoughts about how I can move forward? I don't know, that's why I hired you. You know what? You're not the kind of person I want to work for.
Thank you so much to both of these people, fantastic teachers and They have so much wisdom as well. Their stuff is linked down below. For me, we wrestle with how do I resist temptation, like temptation of playing the PlayStation, temptation of going onto YouTube, temptation of eating this food, temptation of going out with my friends, and how do we focus on success? The easiest way to not give in to those temptations is to remove them completely. And this is obviously the monk way. You know, when a monk goes to the monastery, they are stripped of all their possessions, their relationships, and they are able to focus on the goal and the task in hand. That's why Dandapani promotes this so much. It's something he had to do. And it works, guys. Removal of distractions is the strongest way to avoid them. It sounds obvious, but it's something we don't do. We feel that we need a TV. If a TV is something that distracts you and doesn't aid towards your goal, then you can ask yourself, if I remove that TV, would I have more time to work? If I remove my social media accounts, would I have more time to work? If I'm trying to do, I'm on a diet and I'm trying to get my dream body, and there's crisps and snacks and all these things in the cupboards, when you have a bad day and there is a temptation to go eat those things, they are there, so you can eat them. If you remove them, if you threw them in the bin, if you never bought them in the first place, if you have a moment of weakness, what do you turn to? They are not there. You cannot eat them. As a simplified way of seeing it, but removal is the best way. Removing the distractions, removing friends that aren't helping you, that distract you. You need to question what is your priority list, and if they're not part of that priority list, remove them. It is all about what you want to achieve in life. Thank you for watching the video, guys. Today's video was sponsored by the best motivational clothing brand in the world, Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can get the Rise and Grind t-shirts, the Hardest Worker in the Room t-shirts, and so much more. I am your host, Jordan Mulligan. Go follow me on Instagram, @JordanMulliganBrother, if you want to see what I get up to and hear more from me. Have a blessed and productive day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.